when we started off, we had you go to Project Lean Nation, right? And the reason we have people go there is because we want you to see how much muscle you carry, how much water is in your system regularly, and how much body fat you have, and how those three compare to give you your weight, right? Now, you know, most people follow either, let's say, their total weight, their body fat, or what's the last one? Do you know?
Water?
Not water.
Not water.
BMI, body mass index.
That's
okay. Right, right. So everyone knows my personal opinion on that. My personal opinion is that BMI sucks. And the reason being is because it's based off of people who do not look like me, so it makes it very hard for me to use that as my measuring, right?
Right.
So I don't use BMI, but I do use body fat and total weight, okay? Now, when most people say they want to lose weight, what they're actually talking about is having a certain look. It's not about necessarily the weight itself. It's about the look itself. So I always ask people that question when I get someone who's having real trouble. I say this. I say, if you could look the way you want to look, but you didn't lose any weight, would you be happy? Right? Would you be happy? That's a question for you.
no.
No? It's got to be about the weight?
It's about both.
Even if you had the perfect look.
The perfect look.
Yeah, you had everything you want.
I think
everything exactly how you want to sit.
I think I can't imagine that world.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why I say how I say it, right? And it's not because it's wrong. It's to say let's focus on the right factor, right? So total weight isn't really what we care about. In our mind, we have ourselves being at a weight and looking a way we want to look, right? But really, the idea for most of this is going to be an extension of this one right here, okay? And that is how much muscle, right? And how little body fat, right? The reason I expanded upon that a little bit is because toning is a buzzword for a lot of ladies, and that is building muscle, burning body fat. Now, can you do both at the same time? Yes, but it's not effective. Right, so most people trying to do both at the same time usually they gain very little muscle, and they might burn a good amount of fat, right? But normally, when you try to do both, it's somewhere in the middle, not really effective. It's actually more effective to build muscle or burn body fat. Again, to focus on one or the other, not both. All right? Yeah. What's up?
Does so building muscle does not burn fat?
Building muscle does burn fat. What I'm saying is, if we were looking at it as an entire percentage, right? Most people think the ideal world is to go 50 and 50. That's not true, right? Ideally, you're getting half the results for double the time. What would be smarter to get your ideal look would be, let's say you do have a bunch of fat. It would be smarter to focus on building muscle during that time and not trying to put on any other, like, let's say, gain a bunch or lose a bunch of body fat during that time. Like, getting bigger, stronger, more effective at your weight is better for building muscle at that point. And then the fun part is, will you lose body fat as a byproduct? Absolutely. Right? So let's say we go 70-30. 70 building the muscle, and then 30% the fat. Most people's looks are literally going to show up via that. Okay, so that's the reason to really do it. If you can go the other way as well, but I promise you, most of the ladies I meet who lose weight, who go the other route, let's say you want to go 70-30, again, that's your jiggle arms, that's your not liking the look, it's the love handles. You don't lose that stuff by just losing body fat unless you're very extreme, like unless you lose a lot. Right? It's got to be one of the two. So for me, my ideal thing to do with clients is like a 60-40 or 70-30 when it comes to building muscle, burning body fat. Okay, so before we even get into nutrition, we clear this up because it'll help you draw the picture of what's going to be done in nutrition. Right? So how do we build muscle? How do we build muscle?
We exercise.
We do exercise.
We do.
That's a good answer. All right. Exercise is good.
Strength training.
Strength training, yes. Strength training is good. Strength training makes sense. Right?
Squats for days.
Squats.
So many squats.
I would say yes and no, right? Of course, squats do work, right? But the word I like to use when it comes to it, to make sure that people understand it, is resistance training, okay? As long as you're working against something to push your body to be sore, and I'm not talking about crippling sore, I'm talking about pushing your body to a state of fatigue, then you're gonna grow. It's very, very simple, okay? So resistance training is actually the sweet spot for most people. I train, that's how we train in here. That's why I would rather see people take this route. But again, all of this does fit in that category, yes? Okay, so when it comes to body fat, what's an effective way to lose body fat?
Quit eating stuff.
Quit eating stuff? I mean, you could die. I don't know if that necessarily loses you what you want, but you could definitely stop eating. What's a good way to lose body fat?
Eat whole foods.
Whole foods.
Eat responsibly.
I like
water.
the octave you went up in. Whole foods.
Whole foods.
Whole foods does work. Is there any other way?
Count calories.
Calories. Counting them. I like it. Any other way?
Water. Increase your water. Does that?
Hey.
Okay.
That's a good one. I like it. Increase water. Anything else?
No. Probably, but I don't know what it is.
Okay, so this is actually not the worst start in the world, all right? And the reason it's not a bad start is because, hear me out, if I was to put these and take like branches of them, I could make all of these part of the equation. The biggest ones is going to be where your calories are and your water consumption for sure, okay? Now again, supplementation does matter, but if these things are off, there will be no change. All right, again, this is the average person. We're talking about the average person coming in the door. I always tell the same thing, right? I always say most women who come in undereat, most men who come in overeat. All right, this is the general consensus or general problem, right? So in order to get around that, that's normal. We have to look at it right where it is as far as general, and then build the structure around that to get you what you want, right? So let's go with whole foods. Let's go with whole foods and exercise, right? Whole foods and exercise is how your average person loses weight without little to no problem. Because why? I know you know. That's why I'm asking you.
Changes your total calorie situation.
Right, it's your total calorie situation. So basically, how many calories you consume versus how many calories you burn helps the average person to lose weight. So we go back to this thing right here that you said, right? Mm-hmm. So even though this sounds great, really it changes this.
Right.
Right? Okay. Which is great. Again, this is changed by the stuff around it. Okay? Except for the water. Water has to do with hydration and putting your body in a space to sweat and lose the type of weight you want to lose, right? But it doesn't have to do with the calories. So if we think about it like that, again, the main thing we're doing with any diet is counting calories, right? Okay. This is super important, by the way.
Okay.
The reason it's important to realize that any diet is just calorie movement is so that when you start to look at diets, it's not necessarily the sources you choose just make it more effective. They don't change it. You could eat trash and still lose weight if you did it right, right? So again, calories are the biggest moving factor. There was literally a study of a guy who ate, I want to say it was 90 days. He ate nothing but candy for like anywhere from 30 to 90 days, and he lost 30 pounds.
Okay.
Now,
but his
this
health
ain't to say
sucks.
exactly. His health is terrible, but he did lose the weight. This is why I'm always telling people this ain't the right factor, right? Because you can do it by doing nothing and still do well.
Right.
Now, in detox community, which is an overused culture in my opinion, right? Because people always want to lose fast, and there is a lot of actual pounds or weights of, let's say, waste in the stomach. Most people will detox to lose weight, but that's only, again, it's not losing body fat, right? So that person will lose, let's say, 20 pounds, but they look the same, right? So let's say you're a big person, right? You're a little heavier, you lose 30 pounds, then you look skinny fat, right? Nobody wants to look skinny fat. Exactly. Nobody likes skinny fat, right? So the most interesting part is, again, That's why I tell people this is trash
Okay.
when it comes to the journey, right? I get it. I get it. Again, you got your idea in your head for what this weight, if I was at this weight, I would look this way. Ironically, like if, let's say, and this is a fun question, if you were to lose a pound of fat and gain a pound of muscle, how much do you weigh?
The same.
The exact same. Exactly, right? So, but would your look be different if you gained 10 pounds of muscle and lost 10 pounds of fat?
Yes.
Exactly. So if, again, taking it down the road, body fat or gaining muscle, losing body fat is the name of the game. The rest is going to be byproduct. It is very rare for somebody to gain 10 pounds of muscle and only lose 10 pounds of body fat. All right, it's just rare, okay? Most of the time, the more muscle you have, the easier it is to lose body fat, which is why I'm always telling ladies in here to get strong, make sure you pick up heavy weight, don't pick up the light stuff. Sure, it feels good for you in the moment, but you're gonna hate it eventually because you're gonna feel like you're wasting your time. Your body's not gonna be forced to change. So, again, all of that goes back to this when it comes to how we get the body fat down, okay? Can you do exercise to burn body fat? That's a question.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
You can, right? But losing it that way without enough muscle doesn't get you the look you want.
Right.
Ever heard the term cardio bunny?
No.
Yeah, it's usually a woman who runs.
I can imagine.
Literally runs until she loses all her body fat. That's what she does. Every time she goes in there, she just runs her body fat off. They're skinny, they look frail, it doesn't even look good. A lot of people actually end up getting injured there. Again, we're talking about eating for the look we want, right? So if we're talking about eating for the look we want, running all our body fat off actually isn't what we want. Again, you'll be sick, you won't be able to keep the lifestyle up. That's why most people who run end up usually yo-yoing, right? It's true.
I did that.
It's okay, right? Also, again, there's so many factors there, but I don't want to get into all that. But like the simple thing is that, again, if we're not looking to be skinny fat, then we're not looking to just lose weight. We're looking to lose body fat and gain muscle. Okay? So, yes, increasing your resistance training is a great way to do it, but counting calories is what we're going to focus on because we're talking about nutrition. I just wanted to help draw the parallels for you because I'm sure you've gotten 100 different sources as to what works and what doesn't. So let's take it up a little bit or take it to the calories, okay? Yeah. You can ask questions.
Okay, bro, I was gonna do so.
What?
I said, let's see, just doing whatever.
All right, so as we're here, we've got counting of calories. You guys can ask questions if you want, I don't care. I just mic'd Emily up so that way her questions are going.
I got all the questions.
All right, ask all the questions. So, if we're trying to lose weight, like we're focusing on losing weight, what's a great focus when it comes to calories? Where should our calories be? Is that a better question?
Low?
Okay, how low?
We don't know.
We do
We don't know how low.
How low? Really? Okay.
They should be what we need to exist and function without being.
Okay, we'll
Okay.
take the question back a little bit. So when it comes to calories,
Yep.
how do I know I'm in a space to lose weight? You said it too. You just said it. You eat more or less
You have.
if you're trying to lose weight.
You have to be in a deficit.
Right. So eating less. Yes. Okay. So eating less is normally how we lose weight.
Yeah.
All right. Eating more is how we gain it.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. So this is how we break it down in-house to help it make more sense for all of our clientele. Okay. So you got calories, right? Let's just make it a big arrow. And then you've got macros, right? We are aware of macros, right? What are macros?
Kinda.
Kind of.
Used to be.
Okay.
Tell me again.
Macronutrients.
Yeah.
They're the building blocks of what calories are made of and how you actually break them down into things you consume. And then we have micronutrients. Okay, I'm just going to write micro, all right? Micro is your health stuff, Okay, that's normally what people are looking for when it comes to health and wellness. That's what people are looking at. Again, do you know how much zinc is in your diet? Do you know how much sodium you consume? Do you know how much of a specific fat that you consume and the properties of it? Those are your micronutrients, right?
So macros is like what you eat, and micros is what's in it.
Correct.
Okay.
All right. So macros is protein, carbs, and fats.
So macros,
What
Once
sources?
you eat micros, what's in it?
Yeah, that's it. That's literally that is it, right? So if macros are again your protein, carbs, and your fats, the micros are what's in the food. 100%. That was great. That's a great breakdown. All right. So everyone starts here. Most people never make it past this stage. Okay. Now this may work for
why
you.
we're here.
It may not. Right. But for most people in my space, we solve this equation for you by making suggestions to what you're eating to do it. So for instance, if I have a lady who's, let's say she's carrying a little bit more fat and now she wants to put on some muscle and look different. One of the things I'm going to do, or let's give her two things, okay? And I want to halfway let you answer this because I know you know, but maybe you don't at the same time. So, but he's not mic'd up or that close, so I don't think
I
we'll
know you're
catch
in the
it.
corner over there.
So let's answer. I'm going to answer for him this time. Yes, I would make her go heavier in weight training. Right, I would increase her resistance, and then I would also make sure that she's eating more protein and less carbs. But her number for calories might be exactly the same. Okay, again, sometimes we have to do what's called a body recomposition. It's not about upping or lowering the calories. It's about changing the composition of the macronutrients. All right, so I want to make sure that I draw these parallels for you because I know your journey so far. And how we're going to change your journey is eventually going into counting your macros and seeing how it affects things. For now, we need to make sure that we actually level out your calories so we can get a baseline for where you actually are. And this is where we get into your specific problem. Okay? So when it comes to my good friend over here who will remain nameless, if you know her voice,
You already
got
said
it.
my name.
Did I? Did I? When did I say it? When did I say it?
You did.
When?
It's fine.
When?
It's
When
good.
did I say it? I don't believe you. That's okay. Let's
You
move
can
on.
rewatch the video. and
Ah,
you'll see.
don't do that to me.
You'll see.
All right. So since I used her name, Emily has an issue because she said I used her name. I'm gonna use it.
Patient zero.
Patient zero.
Yes. Okay.
Look, the reason I'm recording this is because I believe a lot of people have a similar problem to
No, I
yours,
like
just differently, like
yeah.
broken up in different ways, shown up in different spaces. So this is how we start to fix that stuff. Okay.
I'm good to be out there. It's fine. Encourage
Well,
other people
they only
to
know if they know. It's not that they know your last name and where they can find you on. I'm
look
just
at my
kidding.
street address.
All right, so
Okay.
let's say you're consuming. We're going to make this simple math.
Yeah.
Let's say you're supposed to consume 2,000 calories a day.
Okay.
This is what you need to be alive. Okay, so again, we talked about this TDEE, total daily energy expenditure, aka how many calories you burn. So let's say in order to literally your body just function, you need 2,000 calories. Okay, if you don't eat 2,000 calories, things start to go wrong if you do that for a long period of time because your body just can't sustain itself. All right, let's just go with that. Yes.
Okay, but I went to Project Lean Nation,
Yeah.
and they calculated
They
that
did.
what I should eat
They did.
to live is
Correct.
like 1540.
Got you. So here's where it gets interesting. All right, we're rounding up just to make it easy.
Okay.
But we're gonna play with the numbers so that way it starts to make sense to you. Okay. So if it was, let's say it's just 2,000 again for the sake of argument.
Okay.
In order to lose weight, all we would do is take you down, let's say, up to 500 calories. Okay. So that would be eating 1,500. All right. So again, making it simple math. You said we have to be in a deficit, right? So if we have to be in a deficit, 2,000 minus 1,500 puts us at 5, right? Simple math. To me, that's way too low for someone trying to build muscle, right? Build muscle and burn body fat. 500 is too low. I would actually say, ideally, most people should be at about 200 calories or 100 calories under their TDEE for what they consume versus what they burn, okay? So obviously, to gain weight, we just gotta be over. Just over, ain't no number. Okay, just over. All right. And again, the reason why it matters, like we can't go too low on this side, is because that's the problem I see most ladies experience. Okay, going too far under actually starts to shut down bodily functions. You can't lose weight if your body's not in a space to lose weight, right? Which is why you'll hear people say starvation mode or different things like that, because the calories are too low.
And you're like
Again,
not
the
as
body
strong.
needs, yes,
So you
the body
can't
needs a
even
certain
do-
amount to survive, right?
Yeah.
So if it's too low, then the body can't do due process. There's your problem. So the whole thing, the whole reason we're setting this up like this, and I'm going over this in detail, is that way you can make sure, like, okay, in my mind, I can be off up to 500 calories, but that's too much for every single day. You get what I'm saying? So we got all these different technologies and different things that we use, but now you get a chance to really figure out how they work together and how to use them. Yes? It'll make way more sense this way. So again, you were asking about going out of town and eating, right? How do I know that I go out of town, and how does that work for when I go? Because maybe there's not going to be a menu. Maybe I don't have any control. Well, if you were to count your calories and you knew that you ate under how much you burn, then you know you'd be okay for not gaining the weight back when you go out of town. All right? Here's where, and this is what I was talking about, this is how you fix it. Again, I'm giving you all the details because I know how your brain works, right? So if we're going over it, again, I can only count what I can measure. If I can't measure it, then I can't count it. So sauces, let's say margarines, different things they might be getting it in. That's why that's why most people who are trying to lose weight go to better restaurants than, let's say, McDonald's, right? And a lot of that has to do with not the fact that McDonald's food isn't the greatest for you. It actually has to do with the fact of knowing exactly what's going into your food, right? You know, bodybuilders eat over there all the time, but
Right.
on specific days. They're not always eating that stuff, because then you're not a bodybuilder. You probably got too much body fat to consider yourself getting ready for a show or whatever. Again, people are the same way. Same habits actually work. So if you're under 500 throughout your entire day, you're good to go. So they said 1540, right? Or 15, like let's just say 1500. Let's say they said 1500 in order to make sure that's how much you have to consume for your body to just function properly. Great. Most of us, that's like laying in your bed all day and doing nothing. And that's how much you burn.
Right.
Right? Okay. So clearly way too low. Right? How do we know it's too low? What factors affect it being too, like, where it's at? You know, because
you
you've told
mean
me.
what does?
Yeah, what
what makes it?
increases, like, how many
yeah.
calories you burn? How do you burn calories?
You're exercising.
Yep. So in order to solve that, we're right back here.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, when I say solve, I want to be very, very important. I want to be very pointed in how I say this, right? The solve is that most of you, let's keep it real, have no idea how many calories you're really burning, right? Your watch says this, but your watch isn't necessarily super accurate. It's an
Yeah.
idea, right? So let's say training session here, let's just go over it for a little bit. Let's say you're burning 600 calories here, which is actually anywhere between 4 to 6. It's pretty normal in our class, which is damn awesome, right?
Like the training class
Yeah,
or a cardio
training
class?
class. A cardio
Training
class
class.
is usually closer to 3,
Yeah.
right? Which is very interesting if you don't know. But again, muscle burns more calories,
Right.
right? Building muscle burns more. So if you're coming to training, then we have an idea. If you go hike in the woods, no Fitbit, no nothing, how do you know how many calories? You don't, right? It's just a guess. If you don't set your Fitbit before you go out
Yeah.
to make sure that you're tracking the exercise that you're doing, you don't even have an idea then, right? It's
Right.
just kind of, it started when I was 20 minutes in, right? Like,
Yeah.
you're still missing things, right?
Right.
So again, it's like, that's not a big deal till you realize how many calories you might miss to how many you should consume. Again, this
Right.
becomes the problem, right?
Yeah.
So again, as we move this, we call that the birds chirping.
Cute.
As we move this, right, we move in between here and go on the other side, you start to realize what actually matters. Again, being over, you're going to gain weight, no matter how little, how less.
Right.
Being under, and again, I said under 500 because that's super low, right? If you're under 500 at the end of the day, then you probably will not lose weight. Okay, so that's the whole thing. It's to keep you from going so far under that you cannot lose weight. Adding your activity to your resting calories burn helps us to determine how much food you should actually be consuming, so we can get up to 500 less than how much you actually ate. Again, how much you burned, how much you ate. Does that make more sense?
But I have to know what I burn.
Agreed. You can get ideas
But
of
I'm
what you
guessing
burn.
based
Yeah.
on my watch or
Guessing
whatever.
is way better though
Okay.
than not knowing at all. You
Okay.
get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if we keep it at 2,000, look, I'm gonna erase that. You come to like let's use yesterday. Okay.
Oh my God.
Let's use yesterday. I'm not gonna
Yesterday
use,
was like
your-
2,900.
That's right.
That I
You burned
burned during the
2,900?
day. Yes.
Okay, so
According to my watch.
okay, so that's fair. So again, this makes it fun. This is a fun conversation, and this
Okay.
is a good conversation for a reason. So you've been told to consume 1,700, but you burn 2,900.
Right.
What did we just say about being too low?
It's bad.
Can't lose weight. It's actually hard. The body fights you to lose the weight,
Because
right?
I ended up eating like 1,800, which is still over
Yeah.
1,700 or 1,500.
Yeah.
But I did wake up a pound less than yesterday.
Yeah. See, well, that's the thing. The body will fight you, but sometimes it'll still give you the result. But the only problem with that is if it's water weight, you can bounce right back, right?
Yeah.
If it's not actual fat, then your body can bounce back. You'll gain it right back, and you'll just be upset about it, right?
Okay.
Losing a pound or two isn't really the goal. The goal is to lose 10, 20 based on what we're doing and how
Right.
our things are working. So 29 under let's say 2,000 is still way too low, right? So what do we have to do? This is why, again, I'm not saying you always have to do this, but this is why you'll see that like people who are super active, their calories are higher. This is why you'll see someone like yourself eating a bunch of damn smoothies to make sure that they're getting in the nutrients that they need, because a lot of them aren't, right? It's always funny to me because like people will come here and they'll have their stationary lives or what they were doing previously. They'll start training here, and then next the question always becomes every single time, damn near without fail. Yeah, I'm so much hungrier now. I wonder why I'm hungry. It's because you're burning more calories, right? And again, burning more calories is going to make you hungry.
That's scary.
Yeah,
But you're supposed to eat more. Like if you're hungry, you should eat food.
100%.
Just
Yes, you
obviously
should.
think about what you're eating.
Yeah, and that's where the Whole Foods thing does come in a little bit. Again, if we're going deep down the rabbit hole, fixing your micronutrients on a level, even if your calorie intake is very, very bad, can still see you some results. That's why eating whole foods, even if you're way under, still people lose weight and do pretty well, right? But what ends up happening, kidney failure, again, gallstones, stuff like that will start popping up because the body's fighting you via what you're doing because you're not consuming enough for the lifestyle you're living. So that becomes a problem.
You
Now,
said like kidney stones and all that just pop up?
I said they pop up when the body stops functioning to process things, the detox based on what you eat.
Gotcha.
So let's say, as an example, right? Let's say, I think it's gallbladder stones, not kidney stones, but one of the two is actually like a form of calcification
Yeah.
in the blood that causes it to coagulate and then turn into an issue. So what's happening there is that your kidneys are made, or your gallbladder is made to process those things to make it easy. What happens is people on like a regular American diet are eating so much sodium and other things that are preserved, the body can't process it faster than it can get rid of it. So it turns into those things. Now again, there's other factors, but it's all what you put in that makes it hard to process, right? How healthy your body is, hard to process. So those things send these marks crazy. And that's why most people will never pay attention to this. But you can start paying attention to this without even trying by consuming more whole foods. That's why the fix for losing weight for a lot of people is whole foods, right? Your micronutrients improve. Even if your calories are terrible, there's still a chance your body's healthy enough to lose weight, okay? So that's how you kind of pass the game, right? Now you see why I wrote everything down, right? It's to make sure that you actually get it so it makes sense to you in your brain. That way you can look at it for what it is, all right? Now, ideally, putting the calories in the right space does that. Let's keep it real. You don't do this every day, right? And that's okay. The reason that that's important is to make sure that what we're actually doing versus what you're getting is what you're really doing to your, like, for your body in the right way. So let's say 2,900 today. Today, you worked out in the morning, and how many calories are you at now? Do you know? Do you have your watch? All right. So, and again, I explained this.
1984.
1984? Already?
Oh wait, no, that's steps. That's
I was
steps.
like,
that's
that's your
steps.
steps? I was like-
1300. 1300.
I was like, yo, that's crazy.
Ain't no way.
It's 1300. I'm sorry.
Okay, no,
That
it's all
was
good.
steps.
So 13, let's use 1300. Do you see the large jump here? Let's say you may remain, again, your calories aren't going to remain this all day.
No.
Right? Because you worked out this morning, all of this. Even if you go walking, you got to go walking for hours to make that
Right.
work. Right?
No, no.
And that's okay.
more like a training in the morning, class at night day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which is a very, let's call it a high activity day. Did you go walking with your dog or anything else?
Today?
No, tomorrow, yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah, so again, there's 3 levels of activity in that
Yeah.
day, which would make that very, very high. So
Right.
again, let's just call this non-sustainable for the sake of conversation.
Sure, yeah.
You're not going to do this 5 days a week, 7 days a week.
No.
So we have no need to up your calories to an amount that are super high because you won't do this 7 times a week.
Right.
Right? You get what I'm
I
saying?
would die.
This is about establishing baselines, right? So if we're talking about establishing baselines, let's say we got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. All right? Let's say Monday, let's go, I think Wednesday you train. Would you train in the morning on a Monday?
I'm going for Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Okay, so for funsies, let's make it the same thing on all 3 days. And actually, didn't you attend Devin's class too?
On Thursday?
On Monday?
Monday? This
Yeah.
week?
Yeah. Did you
No.
come to Debbie?
No.
Debbie dance? Okay.
I think
all right.
3 is, that's going to be
That's a
later.
nice amount for
That's
sure. Well, you already did
3
'cause
classes
you took your
gonna be
dog on
later.
walks, so it's kind of the same. All right. So the reason I asked is to make sure that the number wasn't super high based on
And
something.
Saturday is also crazy.
Got it.
Because I go to dance. And
Got
that's
it.
like a huge calorie burn.
So let's say, based off of this number, your day is closer to, let's say let's do 2, okay? Because we're only halfway through the day,
Sure.
okay? So we're gonna add 2 because again, I think burning 700 is a stretch, but it can be done. All right. So
Sunday's a nice lazy day.
somebody give me a calculator. Add these together, divided by 7. 2,900 times 3 or times 4, and then plus 6,000 divided by 7.
2514.
2514.
And 2 sevenths.
Right. 2514 is a good number, and we'll actually round down because 2 sevenths. All right. So 2,500 over would be gaining weight. Correct? 500 over would be gaining weight. Anything over the 2,000 based on the entire week would be gaining weight. You get what I'm saying? Is it starting to make sense?
So you would try to eat 2,000?
I would try to
Or
get you
less.
close to your base TDE, and I need your calories that you consume to be less than you burn, no less than 500 across the board. Right? Now again, every day doesn't have to be that win, but across the board we need it to even out. That's how we start getting into that space. Okay? So again, having high days, just eat more, right? Take a smoothie, right? Take a healthy fat with you. Consume more on the days that are crazy. So that way you're balancing out your nutrition. So if I was to give this into you in a format as a client to use, let's again, 2,000 is the base, right? So I would actually tell you to consume 2,700 on these days.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's
Right?
a lot.
It feels like a lot
It
for
feels
2
like a
reasons.
lot.
It feels like a lot for 2 reasons. One, probably how you make your food, how you've been consuming food regularly, and then making sure that, like, again, most of the time people are thinking like you should be eating whole meals, but they're not thinking about the fats and everything else. Let's have fun with it. Look in your phone and tell me how many calories a handful of walnuts is. So let's say 10 walnuts.
10 walnuts.
10 walnuts. How many calories is
A
that?
lot. But hold on.
I know you know a little bit, right?
I know it's like, it's in cups here.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. 10 is 52 calories.
52 calories.
That seems low.
That seems low to you?
For walnuts?
For walnuts.
Yeah,
Seems a
because
little
nuts
low.
are super high
Yeah,
calories.
look it up on Google. We got phones.
Like a quarter cup of peanuts
Try it,
is
yeah.
like 180.
So how about a tablespoon of peanut butter?
That's like 90 calories.
How much? So look it up.
I know.
You know it by heart?
Yeah.
You're 100% sure?
90 calories
Okay,
for
so,
one tablespoon.
I'm going to help you
peanut
build
butter.
a calorie-dense smoothie in 2 seconds.
Okay.
How much is a protein powder calorically? Let's say a whey protein. I'll give you a brand.
I use the
You wanna-
collagen
You want to
one.
look it up? Use collagen?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's take the collagen out for the sake of what we're saying. Because
Okay.
it's not a lot of calories. I think it's
No,
like, what,
it's
5
90.
or 10? It's 90?
90 for like a 2 scoop.
Oh, okay. All right,
Yep,
that's fair.
yep.
So I was thinking something that you added into. But we'll keep it simple. Y'all might as well look this up with her. BSN Synthesix Vanilla Whey Protein. BSN Synthesix Whey Vanilla Protein.
That's
All right.
a lot.
Look, I'm trying to help you solve your problems by giving you the knowledge. All right.
Comes in
How
a
many calories is
fancy red bag.
1 scoop. Yeah, it's a terrible brand. But
It's
again,
a kill.
it's actually pretty cheap. 200?
For
Is
one
that what you got
scoop.
too?
Dude, all I'm finding is advertisements.
Serve at 200.
Yep. That seems about accurate.
Dude, I don't know.
Okay.
Taking a long time.
You want to go 200?
A lot happening
We want to
here.
go to 200?
Okay, 190 for 1 scoop.
All right, let's go 200 then. We'll round it, just to
right.
make it simple.
All
Again,
right.
we want simple math for the sake of this conversation,
Like, I
right?
can't find it.
So we said, man, 700 calories is a lot. Okay,
And-
1 scoop of protein powder is 200. How much was a scoop of peanut butter? You said 90?
1 tablespoon is 90,
Yeah,
but a serving of it is 2 tablespoons.
yeah. So give it to me. How much is that?
180.
All
Yeah.
right, there we go. Let's do it. 180.
Some peanut butters are 200.
Before we added anything else,
Yeah.
we're already at 380 calories with 1 protein shake. Right? Now you still got to add, usually you add some types of fruits or veggies or something else to it, right? So let's say you add some berries. Give me a cup of strawberries. How many calories
It's
is
like
that?
nothing.
It's like 50 or 60.
Yeah, it's
I
like
wanna
50.
Say. I want to say it is really low.
It is very low.
Right?
Berries are nothing.
49.
There you go.
All right, let's go 50. Again, for the sake of conversation. All right? Now, again, we still haven't given it any, this is all stuff we add, but what's the base? You're going to use water?
Milk, water.
You're going to use water? Okay.
I use almond milk.
So, how much is what type of almond milk?
It's really low too. I use unsweetened.
Unsweetened?
Vanilla kind.
Okay.
It's like 30
Silk?
calories
Is
a
it
cup.
Silk? Everyone loves Silk. For
I use the
some reason.
Wegmans brand.
You use the Wegmans brand?
Yes.
All
That's
right.
pretty good.
All
It
right.
is good,
So for the sake of argument,
Yeah.
we're going to use Silk sweetened
Ooh.
vanilla.
Yeah.
Try it. Give me how many calories we get. For the sake of conversation, let's do it. Right? This is gonna taste amazing, by the way. I'm telling you, these things be good, right? You better Project Lead, they should have some of their stuff. They be good as hell.
It's 80 for a cup.
80 per cup, 1 cup or
Yep.
serving. 1 cup or serving.
8 fluid ounces. That's a cup, right?
Got it. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure, yes.
That's the 8 ounces, 8 times a day water thing.
That's fair. So
Yeah, the sweet.
we've jumped how much?
Mine say 60 man. We go 80.
So we got 380, right?
Okay.
430, 510. How many extra calories do we need?
7.
700. Give me 20 walnuts to add to it. How much does that put us at?
Nobody knows.
Again, this is a fun conversation because it helps you
You
to
say
step back.
523.
Yeah, that actually seems way more accurate
What?
to me
Yeah,
than what you said a minute ago.
Oh yeah, because we Googled. Yeah, that's
They say
523.
one- yeah,
Okay,
one cup.
so
Yeah.
so 1 cup of walnuts is 523.
But that's not 20 walnuts.
Okay,
That's
so,
just a.
so hold on.
Can you
hold on.
imagine choking
Let's
down
break it
a
down. I actually
cup
have
of walnuts?
I do that all the time. Like I'm serious. I got walnut slivers in the back. So
Say
let's.
one walnut is 13 calories.
All right, so let's go a quarter cup of walnuts. Let's go a quarter
Cup.
Quarter cup.
1 quarter. Yo.
0.25.
Well, I know, but it's not here.
Dang, you messing up my calculations, bro. I quit. I'm just kidding. You're fine. Go for it.
So I'm gonna do 1 ounce, which is kind of close to that.
Similar, but it's probably closer to 2 based on numbers.
131.
If 8 ounces, 1 serving, then
131.
131.
Exactly.
So let's go 130
Yeah.
for the sake of
That's
conversation.
good.
For the sake of conversation. Okay.
Well, now we're
Six.
putting peanuts and walnuts
640.
together.
640. Yeah, 640.
a
640 calories based on a shake and some nuts. That's it.
Shaking some nuts.
Shake them nuts. Do what you gotta do. Do what you gotta do. Shake them nuts. Do what you gotta.
that
Toss
was-
them back.
that was a
That's what you gotta do.
great-
Shake 'em.
You just,
Yeah, gamble
Yeah,
hand.
you did great.
All right. So if you look at it like that, again, getting your extra calories isn't that hard. Okay.
But eating that is so scary. Like I would never right now try to eat 2,700 calories.
Yeah. So again, places like Core Nutrition and stuff did this all the time.
But you're telling me to do that and I'll lose weight.
You don't have to, but I'm giving you an easier way to make it happen. For instance, if you go to like Project Lean Nation, they have that stuff on the wall.
Right,
How many
right.
calories are in it is right there.
Right.
So if I know I'm going to have a day where I'm not going to eat a lot, I choose a very high calorie dense protein shake to make it easy.
Yeah.
Again, I'm giving you the simple solves, the stuff that makes it a way that you don't have to cook it all. You have a solution for when you go a space. Most places you go to, the calories are on the menu now.
Yeah.
Right? Because they're trying to be more health conscious. So
Right.
guess what? The reason I can still eat at McDonald's and still lose weight would be because if I know how many calories I need to consume, I'm still making the right choice. Right? Versus what I want. Now again, long term,
Gonna die of a heart
whole different
attack.
conversation. Whole different conversation. Right? Well, again, I got a whole theory about that. So whenever I'm really sick, I will eat trash food like every 2-3 days. And the reason being, it's one meal. It's not like the entire day, which is stupid. It's one meal because the stuff that's in like GMOs and other stuff actually does help the body reproduce things to grow. It's bad if you do it in a lot. You can manipulate it to get bodybuilder type results or steroid type results. You can use it. But again, there's science to it. That's why we get into this. Okay? So that's why bodybuilders use cheat meals to pump themselves up to do things. Again, it does help the body to be full with blood and other things that can help you with repair. I'm not suggesting it. I'm just telling you. All right? Like,
Noted.
it's something you can do. All right?
Great.
So this is easier. And again, imagine if we just broke it down like this every day, right? Like I gave you, this is why people love meal plans, right? If I hand you exactly how to make the shake, have 2 of these a day, I'm already at 1280, right? So if I'm at 1280, which is 1300, that's half your calories. Now just make smart choices and get to 1300. Not hard. You get what I'm saying? This right here, this is the way that most people need to fix their nutrition because they're not going to make the choices with this. Just keeping it real. There's a reason why places like Mixology or like Shakeology, I think it was called Shakeology, or other smoothie and drink places, that's why they keep opening up. It's because people have realized that by eating it appropriately, they can lose the weight they want to lose. Right?
Also, cooking whole foods, you have to
a skill.
consume a ton
It's a skill
of food
too.
to get to that.
Not to mention the skill barrier to make it something you actually want to eat, right? Not to mention that most people have diets that are full of processed things. So going to eat your foods without all that same stuff on it actually is going to affect you. That's why I never limit what my clients can eat as far as like they're like, oh, I can't have this. I'm like, you can definitely have that. You just got to figure out how, right? It becomes the Rubik's Cube of you got what you want, but how do we make it work? And that's pretty much nutrition in a nutshell, right? Now, again, the reason if we're speaking to your problem, it's because we need more solves like that to make it so it's not a problem, right? We're solving for the problem. If you only had to consume, again, if you had 2 smoothies a day, just using it as an example, if you had 2 smoothies a day and you only had to eat 2,000, it'd be a lot easier. Again, this is why bodybuilders do it. This is why it's encouraged. Easier, not sustainable forever, but easier. Right? Now, could you do this for years? Absolutely. My suggestion would never be whey if you want to do it for years. My suggestion would be a vegan-based protein powder, knowing what it's made of. Most of them are made out of other vegetables, like peas, let's say sweet potatoes, stuff like that. So know what you're buying, right? And again, that's where we get into this, right? Longevity looks like understanding micronutrients. Not on some deep level, just again, eat your fruits and veggies, you'll have better micronutrients. It's that simple. Right? Leafy greens, lots of fiber will fix most of the stuff that people experience in weight loss. Okay? So, again, we will get to a point of it being very complicated. And when I say we will, I will be explaining like this is how we kind of fix it. But for now, we need to establish our baseline across the board so we know how we're going to function. And that's where I'm at currently. That's what I do with all of my clients, very first 4 weeks. That's why you fill out the blueprint, and I don't give you foods to follow usually in the beginning, is to make sure you have a baseline. If you already have a baseline, I can work from a baseline. But I need a baseline first. Make sense?
Yeah.
Do you have any questions?
I suppose I don't. I'm gonna have to get comfortable with that number of calories.
I don't think that's your actual number of calories on a regular basis, but I think it's a good number to understand that
Right.
this is where it comes from. Like, this is how it could be.
It's a good number to
Right.
understand. I mean, it is some days of the week,
Yeah.
but that's what my watch says, so I don't know if that's real.
Well, it's again, baseline. So
Yeah.
if baseline, let's say the watch says 2,900, again, you did a lot yesterday. Let's say on Wednesday it doesn't, right? Let's say on Friday it doesn't. Even though you come to 2 classes, it could be different based on how it is. That's why I said baseline, not necessarily this is what you got to eat for sure.
Yeah.
Baseline,
Yeah.
right? Once we establish a baseline, then we know how many calories you need to consume in order to lose weight by using that baseline to establish it. Okay? Make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so it's not overwhelming yet.
Right.
It just seems like a lot of information. We need to take a step-by-step process.
Yeah.
Yes? Okay.
So what we're doing here is we're not focusing on weight, but we're building muscle, we're
Yep.
burning fat,
Yep.
and then you're gonna automatically lose weight, but you're also gonna look good and be healthier.
Correct.
Okay.
That's me.
Correct. Yes, he is. He actually is a byproduct of doing exactly that.
Success story.
Right. And it was
Alright.
the funniest part was you also struggled to lose weight for a long time. You had to work with a couple trainers, other stuff. And what all I did was say, write down your food, like track your food. That's all I said to him. And immediately, because again, most of us, that accountability lacks, right? You don't understand what it looks like to make the better choice. Once you make the better choice and you start to see results, it's almost addicting to just keep doing it.
Yeah.
But you have to see the results,
Yeah.
right? Okay, so if you're like, you are, the reason I call you a more challenging case is because yo-yo dieting is in our culture so much that most people have messed up their gut health, which makes it harder for this to be lined up.
Yes.
But just by fixing this and establishing a baseline, we do fix a lot of those problems. That make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
That was me.
Yeah.
That was you?
That's-
My gut was fucked.
All right. And people ask me all the time, they're like, your stomach doesn't hurt, you don't have any issues? I'm like, nah. They're like, you're a bodybuilder. I was like, yeah, but I ate clean sources. Even when I did keto, again, when you do keto the right way with proper and healthy new sources, you don't get keto breath. You don't get all the other stuff. I keep telling people this, but they don't listen, because if I told you to take extra virgin olive oil shots, most people look at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, but yo, you're stuffing your mouth with cheese on a regular basis, like, and you're wondering why your breath stinks or you're losing your hair. That stuff is killing your inside. There's no value to it on a micronutrient level, and there's your problem. Sure, your macros are cool, but there's no nutrients in the stuff you're consuming. There's your problem, okay? So again, that's why I like a combination of this, but we use this to start changing the body, right? These are the two that start changing your composition. Your overall health exists here. Make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. And that's it. Thank you for coming.
I eat Core Life every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got a